A very good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to another episode here on the Life Signatures Radio. Thank you so very much for tuning in to the show from whatever place it is that you are located, from whatever season of time or whatever calendar date it is, because I know that this podcast can be listened to at just about any point in time. This is a daily show on the subjects of purpose, productivity, and resilience. Those three, I do believe, are critical to just about any human being, that if you missed one, your life is not going to be as it's supposed to be, actually. But all of us have a purpose at an individual level. We're supposed to be productive from that particular angle of purpose. And we're living in a dark, fallen world. When we go down, when we fall, we rise up. How resilient can we be? So we give strategies on those three things on a daily basis, which is a virtual incubator for purpose, for productivity, and for resilience. We are in the middle of a series. We've been talking about raising spirit-led children. Very important topic. And I know some people might be asking, how in the world am I going to do that? And that's what we've been answering in this past episode. So we're going to continue to do the same and go deeper into this. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
I will sound repeated here, but we're not talking about religion per se. You see, religion is not necessarily something related to the spirit. The spirit is it is older than religion. The spirit of a human being is older than religion. The essence of the human being a spirit is older than when religion was discovered. What is religion? Man trying to figure out where in the world God is, where in the world the divine is. Man trying to reach out to the divine by doing some gymnastics here and there, trying to appease the gods or the God, whatever it is. That is what religion is made up of. But the spirit of the human being predates religion, because the human is actually spirit. And so when we're discussing these things, raising spirit-led children, we're not talking about going to church or going to the mosque or going to Eastern mystic religion or meditating and doing No, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about looking at a human being from the angle of the divine, from the angle of this is a spirit. And even though a child is born with a blank mind, a child is not born with a blank spirit. And our biggest problem is that when we're raising children, we are looking at their blank mind to paint on. And we totally negate their already vibrant, healthy, direction-oriented spirit. And we don't have any content or any direction to feed that. We have a lot of gazillion content to fill the mind and feed the mind. And we call it education. But someone told me that the definition of education is from the Latin word educare, which means to draw out. What are we drawing out? The spirit. We're drawing out what is this child made up of. What is their passion? What is their purpose? What is their calling? What matters to them? And so we've been looking at how can we be able to do exactly that. And let me do a recap for you. Number one, you need to identify what your child is passionate about. Each and every one of us have a different kind of passion. And to some degree, you find that this passion is also connected or measured to number two, what we are inclined to, what we are naturally inclined to and interested in. In fact, the two go hand in hand. So you find that if someone really loves football, they are having a natural ability to play the game. If someone really loves poetry, they have a natural inclination to do poetry. If someone really loves leadership, they have this natural inclination and ability to lead or to guide or to influence. You see, those are the things that are going in there. But the third thing that I want us to discuss today is if you're going to raise a spirit-led human being, number three, you've got to identify what emotions are triggered in your child. Now, listen, emotions are a great indicator of where the ship is going in terms of the human being. They are a great indicator of what direction someone is taking, a great indicator of what really matters to them. If something doesn't matter to me, I'm not going to be sad about it. I'm not going to be angry about it. I'm not going to cry about it. I mean, if I don't care about crocodiles, I can laugh when someone misuses crocodiles and kills them to make crocodile shoes or alligator shoes, whatever they call them. If I don't care about human beings, when someone kills human beings and so on, I'm not going to raise a finger. But of course, when you talk about human beings, it's totally different, because in all of us, there's got to be this natural disposition to love all of us, to love each other, because we are human. But you get the point I'm raising, that our emotions indicate what matters to us. So we've got to identify, as we're leading these guys, as we're raising these guys, what triggers their emotions. Because what triggers their emotions tell us what kind of spirit inclination is in them. It is that simple. It's that straightforward. Therefore, listen, in raising these guys up, we've got to come to the level where we are keen to know that their emotions are an indicator of what lies deep within them, and it gives us an opportunity to start excavating that. So if you find your kid has an inclination towards something, towards order, for example, my daughter, for example, the idea of things being in place, things being in order, things working actually, is very critical for her, because if things are not in order, if things are not working for her, it frustrates her emotions. What does that tell me? It tells me that this human being is hell-bent, let me use that particular word, hell-bent to see low is such a huge whatever, but he's hell-bent to see order in place. And what kind of human being wants to see order manifested in place? That's what I need to find out. Why is it that they want organization? Maybe the key word there is organization. Planning, strategizing, making sure that things are neat, and so on and so forth. I need to have an input towards. I need to dig deep and find out why is that, and start leaning towards that and giving them opportunities to express that particular spirit of order, that particular spirit of organization. But I should not ignore it. I should not ignore it. See, that's the first thing that we need to identify as far as the emotions are concerned. So at some point in time, you'll identify different emotions. There's an emotion where, for example, you see one child being punished and the other one is crying because the other one is feeling pain. And the same emotion cannot apply to all the children. Another child can be punished, another one is gleeful and happy that, oh, their sister, their brother, whatever it is being punished. Or it doesn't just occur to them, it's just there. But you need to look at these stressful and different types of emotions that are emitted whenever things are happening in life from the perspective of a child. So, for example, when you see a child saying to leave alone the brother or the sister when they are being punished and they're helpless and they're crying, it means that they are compassionate. That compassion is part and parcel of their emotions. And that is not a material thing. That is a spiritual thing. What does that tell you about someone who is compassionate? There are various myriads of ways you can be able to order their footsteps and their lives. And I think the first one is leadership, because all leaders are supposed to be compassionate people. But we don't see that in life today. We think that leaders, the raw materials for leadership should be things like, going for it and daring and ordering people around. No, leadership is about compassion. If someone lacks compassion, they cannot be a leader. But how are you going to identify these emotions? How are you going to identify that this is supposed to be a leader? It's by looking at these emotions that are emitted. So every time you're raising people and things happen, of course, life exposes us to different situations and different scenarios as they grow up. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to identify what is being emitted here. What is being showcased here? What is being triggered here? Triggered is actually a very good word. And don't be quick to shut it down. Don't be quick to scold it. You know those things you normally tell your kids, stop crying like a baby. Stop it. It is your responsibility to kind of harvest that moment, not in a big way, but in a contemplative way. The Bible tells me of the story of when Jesus was in the temple and the parents went back and they found that he was reasoning with the adults, and then they asked him, why are you doing this? Why did you do this to us? And he said, didn't you know that I was supposed to be in my Father's house? But listen, the very next line is the line that I want you to go home with. It says that Mary, that's the mother of Jesus, cherished these things in her heart. You get the point? That's what we're supposed to do. When we see emotions being triggered, emotions being emitted, emotions erupting, when things are happening, we're supposed to cherish those things in our hearts and start identifying what direction we're supposed to channel these guys now that they're going in this kind of direction in life. So that's number 3. If you are raising spirit-led people, you need to identify what emotions are being triggered. Emotions are one of the readily available things we can use to determine the nature of the spirit of anybody. When you do have a hint of what it is, the ball is firmly in our court to learn how to nurture it. Tomorrow we're going to continue with this. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.